What is up, guys? It's Original Boris here, also known as Famous TikTok Dad, whatever you want to call me. But it is story time. Today I'm going to talk about a guy who was a huge influence on my life when I was younger, and I did not realize how big of an influence he was on my life until I got older and I began to look back, reminisce, and I really appreciated what he did for me when I was younger. So way back in the day, I used to be a fisherman in Alaska. Here's some pictures of me in Alaska from the late 90s. So there you go, right there standing on the edge of the boat. That's me doing my Titanic. But anyway, so I was a fisherman in Alaska. And when I first went up there, I just wanted to leave my hometown. So I had been expelled. I was young. I had been expelled from school. I was kind of estranged from my family. I wasn't really talking to my family. I was talking to a brother. That was about it. But I wanted to get out of this town. I wanted to leave. So I left. My brother told me he had some friends that were going to go fishing in Alaska. So he hooked me up with them, and we ended up all going to Seattle, where they flew us out. We went to Seattle, flew out to Anchorage, and when we got to Anchorage, the plane was overbooked. So what happened there was I quickly realized that the people that I was with were my brother's friends, but they weren't my friends. So they ended up leaving me alone in Anchorage. I was stuck there by myself. They jumped on the plane and they went to Dutch Harbor. So I was stuck at the airport. I was really young. I had 80 bucks in my pocket. Back then, that was, I guess, quite a bit of money, but you know, 80 bucks now. Anyway, that's all I had on me. But I was stuck at the airport, did not know what to do. I just knew that I didn't have a flight. And there was a guy standing there, and he kept looking at me. And he came up to me and he asked me where I was going. I told him I was going to be a fisherman in Dutch Harbor. That was my destination. And he befriended me. He told me his name was Tall Bull. He was Native American, and he went by Tall Bull. So he quickly befriended me, and we went up to the to talk to the airline people, and they hooked us up with the hotel and some vouchers for food. And we were there for a couple of days at in Anchorage. So he kind of took me under his wing. When we went to the hotel, the people at the hotel were very rude. It's not like we had our own room. We were all strangers, and they put a bunch of us into the same room. Like there was me, Tall Bull, and another guy. I wish I could remember the other guy's name, but he ended up working for another company. So once we actually made it to Dutch Harbor, we lost connection. I remember he kind of wore a hat like a Heisenberg in Breaking Bad, and he was from Colombia. So, but I don't remember his name. But the three of us had to share a room in Anchorage, and we became friends. And Tall Bull, kind of like I said, I was young. Tall Bull was 34 years old, I remember, and I was young. He was a lot older than me. So he took me under his wing, took care of me, showed me, because he had been fishing for years. He showed me around Anchorage. We went out to eat every day, and we just hung out and we became friends. Eventually, we ended up getting a flight to Dutch Harbor. And I actually filmed another TikTok talking about a UFO experience that I had on that flight from Anchorage to Dutch Harbor. That was another story that I made for another separate video. So we get to Dutch Harbor, and me and Tall Bull ended up working for the same company, and this other guy from Colombia had to go work for another company. So once we got to the airport, they went our separate ways. Now, when I got to the airport, I didn't know what to do in Dutch Harbor. So Tall Bull was kind of guiding me, making all the phone calls, and he was able to get us to our boat. If it hadn't been for him, I probably would have been stuck in Anchorage. I wouldn't have known what to do. So once we got to the boat, he became my closest friend there. Even though we had different rooms because we were assigned rooms, it was kind of like the rooms had bunk beds, so we were assigned rooms that we had to share, and so we had different rooms. But whenever we could hang out, we would hang out, and we had a bond. We both liked rock music. We were both really into rock music, so we would spend hours just listening to rock music, talking. He actually grew up only an hour and a half from where I grew up. I grew up in Walla Walla, Washington, and he grew up in Connell, Washington. I remember that. And so we were pretty close to where we grew up. and we just hit it off. There's some people that you click with, some people that you get along with, and he was just somebody that I clicked with. He saw that I needed help. I was young. I needed help while I was stranded in Anchorage, and he took care of me then. I was just a young kid. He took care of me. At the time, like I said, I didn't appreciate it. I was just like, cool. But looking back, he really went out of his way to make sure that I was safe. So we grew close. Like I said, we spent hours listening to rock music. I remember he loved Marilyn Manson, and when I was a teenager, I loved Marilyn Manson. So we were really into rock music. And there was another guy from Seattle. I don't remember his name either. He briefly hung out with us, and because he liked rock music too. But eventually, that job came to an end. The trip came to an end. The season, I should say. And I was gonna get his number because we were gonna go work for another company, and but we were in such a hurry. Something happened, and I ended up leaving, and I ended up losing contact with him. I will tell you, Tall Bull is definitely one of the hardest workers, if not the hardest worker that I've ever met. But for many years, after that trip, you move on with your life. I had planned on going back, but I lost contact with him, and I started working for other companies. Eventually, started a family, had kids, got married, got divorced, whatever. And so I didn't really think about it much. But then a few years back, I just started thinking about him really heavily. And so I started looking for him on social media, and I could never find him on social media. He didn't have social media. I looked Facebook, everywhere, wherever I could try to find him, I would look for him, but I could never find him. I'd Google him, couldn't find him because I was trying to just after all these years had gone by and you grow older and you start realizing how important some people were in your life. I wanted to get a hold of him and thank him, but I could never find him. Then a few years back, I was sent to California for work. And on my way back, I had a layover at the airport. So for whatever reason that day, he was heavily on my mind. So I decided to Google him, and I found him, but it was his obituary. He had passed away only a few weeks before. So I was never able to thank him. But he had a huge impact in my life. Like I said, he helped me out when I was stranded in a state that I knew nobody, and really took care of me. So yeah, don't let too much time go by. Make sure to thank those people that were always there for you. I know sometimes we get busy in life. Stuff happens. We start working, we start families, whatever the situation may be. But always take the time to thank those people that were there for you. I know sometimes we lose contact with people, but in this day and age, with social media and everything, it really is a lot easier to find some people. And I just found them when it was a little too late. But anyway, that's my story. Thornton Tall Bull. I know he's up there somewhere. I know we'll see each other again. But he had a huge impact on my life, and that was one person that I truly appreciate. And I wish I would have told him but I just didn't. When I was younger, I didn't think about it much. But anyway, that's my story. Hope you enjoyed it. Rest in peace, Tall Bull.